you can't market without building a brand first. If you don't get those, you're not going to be able to market to somebody and have them buy your product. Nobody's going to want to do that. Now TikTok has a feature that this is where marketing comes into play. Right on a video, if I'm talking about, if I'm wearing something and it's my brand or something and I'm just doing a video, the thing comes up and says, buy this shirt. And you can click the video and buy it right from the video. I could be doing a silly video, but wearing my brand's shirt. A thing will come up and say, you like this person, you like this video, you like this shirt, click here and shop.
Welcome to the Love Your Brand podcast. If you're looking for real conversations with real people, you're the right place. Let's go!
Let's go! Yo, guess who's back?
He's just talking to himself.
Amazing. Jason has to get hyped up because this is the second episode where we cut the air off. It was so
but
quiet.
We have some white noise now.
We have some white noise. That's right on me.
Yeah.
This feels so good. Like, I'm so happy right now. But Jason needed a little encouragement. He needed some white noise. Mm-hmm. So replaying the intro. Was it too quiet for you?
It was very quiet. It was awkward.
You can't get in the right mindset unless you hear the intro. I get it. It's a pump up. It's like listening to pregame music before you go out there.
Yeah, I need I need that music. I need that anthem. That let's go.
I like it.
It's nice.
I like it. And that's custom, right? I don't know if people know that. I mean, that's a custom build.
Yeah. Who did that for us?
His name?
Just this.
Dante?
Dantes?
No, Jason found him online,
Okay.
and he does voiceovers, music, custom tracks, and everything. Very
Wasn't it
affordable.
Like Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, as long as he doesn't say
a boot,
oot and a boot, no offense to the Canadians, but
no, that's just not quite what we're going for with our intro.
Right.
That's okay.
Let's go a boot.
Video on.
Is the video on?
It's the TalenAlexander podcast about marketing and
Amazing.
That's British.
Okay. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Simon. Amazing.
So we've got Miss Alexandra.
Alexandra.
Named after Alexander.
Alexander.
Which is I'm fond of Alexander, as you know.
That's what it was named after. My mom's maiden name's Alexander.
Feel like I'm having deja vu. We talked about this before. I said Alexander the Great. You said no.
The Great?
When we filmed with Megan.
I don't remember.
We talked about it. Oh, I do. But I watch the podcast a lot as I'm getting everything posted.
Jay Hill called us all Alexander.
We're all Alexanders.
Yeah.
I think I get really nervous on camera. So I mess people's name up. It's bad when one of your good friends, you can't even say their name properly.
That's okay.
Like a fly on the spot.
And fly on the wall. Fly on the wall. Put me on the fly. Man.
Put me on the fly.
Put me on the fly. So when we had Belle here for the podcast, she came in and put me on the spot. And I meant to say that, like, you put me on the spot. Mm-hmm. I was like, you put me on the fly. Jason, turns around. He's making a call. He's like, fly on the fly? Fly on the wall? See, I get nervous.
But on the fly is a thing, too.
Is it? Okay, yeah. There we go. I said it right.
Hey, you do it, if I do something on the fly.
It was the wrong context. Because I was not saying that.
So we've got somebody, we got some youth with us. So they can, teach us with all the new school sayings that are going on now, like on the fly.
That's not really new.
Oh, it's not.
See, dude, we are so behind. Not only do we not know it, we're way behind. Like drip? How? When did drip come out?
Maybe 2010s.
2010s?
Yeah,
Wow.
I just learned about it from that kid on Instagram.
I feel like it's not a very big thing. We can look it up.
What?
Really?
We can sit here and just look up what's popular.
But that's interesting because Zan does a lot with social media. With our team. And it's kind of important to understand what's hot, what's trending, how long things trend, to post relevant content about that. And Jason and I will never lead anyone to believe that we know anything of what we're doing when it comes to social, especially TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zan, have you ever heard of TikTok?
Once or twice. I spent last week, how every week your phone gives you the hours you spent on different apps.
Mine does not.
Well,
but let's say
maybe,
I do.
Yeah, let's say you do. Well, it gives you your screen time. My screen time was 48 hours last week. And
is that a lot or a little?
48 hours on your phone, and 30 some of them were just watching TikToks, it said.
For you?
For me.
Are you proud of that?
No. This is like hours I spend watching TikToks. I can say, though, I'm working.
That's what I was going to ask.
Like half the time.
Well, no, but like...
She's rethinking her what she just said. She's like, oh, crap, there's my boss.
I'm researching all the time. Trends. I go to bed. I get in bed. It's like after dinner. I could get in bed at 7 o'clock. But 3 hours till 10 o'clock, that's all I'm doing. I wake up in the morning. It's the first thing I do. It's bad. But that's what everyone's doing.
Not everyone.
No, my age.
Okay,
so
there you go. Exactly.
I'm going to lead into what I wanted to say of advertising on TikTok and reaching people. If I do this for that many hours, and I feel like, I actually get stuff done during the day. So there's people out there, especially in college, my age and early 20s, that's what they're doing with their lives. And that's why you can reach so many people. And they're quick. Our brains only, you sit there and watch 3 seconds. The attention span. So short. TikTok is ruining people's attention span.
Okay, so I agree. So let's imagine there's some listeners today that don't know anything about TikTok. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those people, honestly. Yeah. So people like Jason and I's age, I's is not a word, me and Jason's age, and our parents or things like that, they may understand Facebook. Mm-hmm. They may understand LinkedIn and how it came about. But give like a high level if somebody has never gotten on TikTok, have the app. What exactly is it and how do you use it?
So how you use it is you go on and you create a very short video. You can do it through the app or through another platform, and it's only videos posted. They originally were like 15 seconds max. You can do up to 10 minutes now. So it's kind of morphing into what a YouTube was. And you go in and they give you a For You page and a following page. Following page is obviously accounts that you've clicked follow that you want to see. For You is where people spend most of their time, and it's just an algorithm that TikTok reads personally to you based on stuff you like, I swear it's listening to you, stuff you talk about, everything. And it gives you recommendations of trends, of topics, of literally anything your heart desires, and puts videos in front of you. So that's where it gets addicting. And each one is so unique. And, it goes on endlessly. You can scroll endlessly. And it's going to continue doing this for you. So as someone, me, I like fashion, makeup, that type of thing. I'm seeing all of these creators. But Jonathan, let's say you like health and wellness, gym stuff. You're not going to see the same videos I'm going to see.
Okay.
And that's why also, the trends come about where you see like you hear these certain words, drip. It's right. A little bit older. Let's say there's something that's saying that, though. It picks up on all your keywords and puts it into other people's For You page that are also listening and saying those keywords. So the trends just morph and you've participated in a few TikToks with us.
Right.
So you kind of understand, they'll take a saying out of a movie. Could be a movie from the 90s. Something that somebody is saying, and you do a lip sync to that. You do a dance to an old song. A song was playing and my mom was like, well, how do you know this song? And I'm like, it's TikTok. Like I can, because there's trends that go along with everything. So a good explanation.
That's a really good explanation. Okay. So the way I perceive it is, the younger generation has adopted this.
Yes.
Likely because the older generations, it's just something new that they're not a part of. But do you see that TikTok is a relevant platform for almost any business?
I wouldn't say almost any. Many businesses, even we do a lot of B2B, which B2C, I feel like you would put more in that category of even social and stuff like that, unless it's like LinkedIn, reaching out with Facebook for B2B. But you can do so much. And everybody, it's a way to reach people in such an easy. I was just telling Jonathan this before we got on the podcast, but I was like,
"You're talking to me?
Yeah.
You just talk to me in the third person?"
Well, I'm talking to the audience.
You confused me. There you go. That's amazing. Well done.
No, but we were just talking before we got on this podcast, and it was saying it's easy. Anybody can learn to do it. It's fast and it's virtually cheap. I mean, it's virtually free. It's free.
Can you do ads? Can you pay for ads?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So that's where there's the line of the social if you want to pay. We haven't even explored that, and we've put out a few videos to our 30 followers right now, and we've gotten thousands of views on some of them. So it's based on that algorithm is how you're getting, and then using hashtags, relevant posting time, keywords. That's all super important with TikTok too.
Okay. So I know like with Instagram and when the hashtag came out, how that was the primary search criteria to where you put in hashtag health, hashtag gym, whatever, and it's going to populate all those. You mentioned, I'm hearing some feedback. You hear that? I'm throwing my voice. I sound like a robot. No, but with TikTok, you mentioned keywords. Do you know how TikTok is receiving keywords versus hashtags?
Absolutely. So keywords stem from what you say in the video itself, your caption, if you put closed captioning on, and then hashtags are still relevant. But there's such a combination of how you're going to gain your viewers now. No, but drip. Atlanta rappers coined the term drip in the early 2000s. It was first used in the early 2010s.
The early 2010s.
From then as slang.
Zan, I'm 10 years behind on knowing when drip came out.
Yeah.
Well, I worked with an organization last year, and younger guy, he's probably around your age, maybe a couple years older than you, and like stuff like bet.
Yeah, bet.
What does bet mean?
That's like, okay, I understand. Bet.
Okay, it's this is interesting.
Like if they say my plans, you want to meet at 6:00? Bet I'll be there.
Okay.
Oh, that's old though. That's like back in my day. That's what we use.
But like with bet, saying okay, or I understand. I think with social media, going back to TikTok as an example, you have to know who your audience is.
Yeah.
If my audience is 50-year-old, 70-year-old women, I'm not going to be communicating information. Hey, bet, drip, they're going to be like, what are you talking about? But if my audience is like your generation, do we have to tap into like change our verbiage and our brand voice around that?
I don't think you have to change your brand voice. And especially I think as a brand, you want to establish yourself in a certain professionalism.
Correct.
We as a company are a lot more free than what people's, other companies that we'd recommend social strategies to, but we want to see, have that verbiage that we can, connect with all audiences. But we still need to really keep in mind that there's a line there of this slang that's what it is. It's slang. It's unprofessional. So where can we relate to audiences and do trends that are popular, but don't cross that line of looking unprofessional?
I think, with TikTok, they're trying to tap into, what is it, the Z, right? The Gen Z generation.
Yeah.
It's more of a play to build that longevity with their users down the road as they grow. They need to be involved with their content. So I think it's very unique how we look at the different social outlets, and it does require a different strategy.
Absolutely.
Like when we're doing with our partners, there's a specific strategy we need to adhere to with TikTok, right? I'm not going to mention any names, but, it's different than their Instagram and Facebook strategy.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we've had partners that have struggled to grasp all the changes. It's so constant. It's so hard to keep up with. But the change of like joining a social media platform, and I get it. It's a lot of change. It's different. It might seem weird to be doing these silly videos, but that's how you're going to grab your brand, your audience, and establish a brand on this platform. And as I said before, it's not about being unprofessional. It's about who is going to see it and who's going to want to buy your product or service. And again, like our partners, some of them have said, I don't even want a LinkedIn. I don't even want an Instagram, let alone TikTok, which is so new. And getting that point across that this is how you're going to sell your product. And, it's putting in a little bit more time, a lot less money than what paid search, email campaigns, and, whatever direct mailers, brochures. It's so much less money and less time put into there, but you're seeing such a great feedback from it.
So let's look from the perspective of branding versus marketing, and we talk often, it's like branding is pulling, marketing is pushing. Yeah. And so when you see an ad at the Super Bowl for Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is not spending millions of dollars at that point for you to go grab a Coke right at that moment. It's a branding play to where you're constantly going to be thinking about Coca-Cola when it's time for a beverage. And so when people go to social media, like you said, you're going to check out and you're going just to aimlessly scroll, to be entertained or to be educated by that. And so is it a branding play to where people are constantly like seeing your brand, seeing employees, to where it's evoking those emotions like, hey, when I think of your brand, it makes me smile. It makes me laugh. It makes me do whatever. And then there's the marketing strategy that comes into where now we're asking you to buy. Now we're asking you to move forward. Like, do you see social media, specifically TikTok, as the branding aspect?
I see it as both, honestly. And that's why social media is so cool and so interesting. But as you said, you can't market without building a brand first.
Right.
You can't establish yourself. You can't evoke those emotions, even if it's just about who we are. This is what we do. This is what we can do for you. Until, if you don't get those, you're not going to be able to market to somebody and have them buy your product. Nobody's going to want to do that. Now TikTok has a feature that this is where marketing comes into play. Right on a video, if I'm wearing something and it's my brand or something and I'm just doing a video, a thing comes up and says, buy this shirt. You like the shirt, you like what they're talking about, and you can click the video and buy it right from the video. It's called TikTok Shop. Instagram has the same kind of thing. Without even a paid ad, if I'm talking about my, I could be doing a silly video, but wearing my brand's shirt, a thing will come up and say, you like this person, you like this video, you like this shirt, click here and shop.
So if this was right now, so this is a Love Your Brand shirt. If this was for sale, we offer this as a product.
Yep.
Somebody could watch this video and they could go click this or click whatever, and it takes them to a link where they could purchase.
Yes.
And without doing that as a paid ad.
Yes.
Did you know that, Jason?
I did. And
what?
It's huge because their base, TikTok base, I think it's 2-to-1 female to male ratio, right? It's the largest growing app in viewership. I mean, it's killing YouTube, X, you name them, Facebook. So I think they launched that how long ago?
A few months ago, I'd say, yeah.
I just think that's a natural progression.
That's why TikTok's great, because of the change. They're constantly evolving and adapting to whatever trend's going on.
So it makes sense, especially for B2C customers, to have that presence. Maybe their avatar are women, from early 20s to 40s, and TikTok would represent a component of them, especially if they're buying, right? If they've got an e-commerce business. Why send them through all that friction when they can just purchase on the spot, right? Because a lot of times people do make those impulse buys, right?
I'm guilty.
Are you?
Very.
Well, see,
very guilty.
She's an e-commerce avatar, right?
Absolutely.
She fits that persona that a lot of B2C companies do. That's why we really don't pursue TikTok unless it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
We have a lot of B2B clientele and clients that we're like, hey, you know what? Really, for bang for the buck, it really doesn't make sense for you right now. We would advise you to stay with LinkedIn. Maybe, you're primarily Instagram and Facebook. So we really don't push it unless we think there's a means for it.
Absolutely.
Like Pinterest, right? That's another one. That's
very niche.
Very, very female oriented, inspirational. Your do-it-yourselfers, right?
I think Pinterest is one of the most underutilized social apps today. I never understood it really until lately. And it's like there's such an opportunity there. It's a gold mine, so much.
I like Houzz too. I think that's really a niche. Have you ever?
Never heard of it.
We use it for some clients. Houzz. It's more for contractors and anybody getting house inspiration, home DIY, decor, stuff like that. Very niche, but a lot of people on there. It's a way that you can sell your product directly from.
But I mean, that's the point. But you brought up, it's very niche. It's like we talk often. I think one episode where you and Megan were on, and you talked about repurposing content. So I can have this piece of content, and I'm going to post it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Instagram, whatever. And you got to know your audience. And so that's where when we do like a discovery call with a partner, it's learning who do you serve? Yeah. What is your niche market? And to understand, and then take that data that they provide and say, based on who you serve and what you offer, TikTok, Instagram are going to be the platform that we're going to utilize, kind of a thing. And, because you deal primarily with our partners on the social aspect of it, do you find that there's a lot of resistance from some of our partners based on they just don't understand the platforms?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an education barrier there, especially because I know I'm very young and I come with a whole different perspective. And Megan, who's understands what I'm saying, we deal with some of our partners that are a lot more old school, that are not used to this and not willing to learn. Some of them, if they're willing to learn and listen to us, they will then really understand the benefit. A statistic I actually just thought of that I read, it's 60% of all Gen Zs now use social media as their primary search engine.
Wow. I heard that too.
So they're going on there looking for you. And that's a free thing you can do, to just post and be regular and reach out to your audience, because people aren't even using Google or, anymore. It's insane. It's insane.
Wow. And the transition to AI, AI is becoming a search engine as well, which is interesting because all these places, search engine has changed drastically to where data you're getting back and results that you're getting fed back are not necessarily truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're getting opinions,
That's
you're getting algorithms of data.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
AI is going to search through everything and weed it down for you. It's scary, though.
It is scary.
I wish I had it whenever I was in school.
What would you have done with it?
Just writing a paper and not knowing where to start. And even for a business, if you want to explore a new market, it's so much time and effort, researching what do I want to do? What is the best for me? Typing it into ChatGPT. I'm guilty of it now. I'm like, I don't have a social caption for this post. Yeah. Give me some social captions that are going to optimize keywords for this brand. Right there. It's almost at your fingertips.
You're getting an advisor, a mentor, kind of a coach.
Absolutely.
To help you, because I don't think you can just take that data and just write a paper or something, which is what people had a lot of hesitancy around. College kids are just going to write all their essays, from this. But there's nothing wrong with leveraging that information, because if we're doing a report on something, you go find that data. Like you said, you would have used it in college. When Jason and I were in college, we had no internet. And so we're going to papers, we're going to libraries, we're grabbing books, and we're having to scroll through the pages,
How old are you
guys? I know, right? And imagine my daughter when I tell her that one day, she's like, what? And so it's totally different, but it's, as things evolve, I heard a quote one time, and I believe it was something like, change is not necessary. Survival is not mandatory. It was good. It was like, you don't have to change, but if you don't, you're not going to survive. And that can go for everything in business.
Yeah.
And so I interpret that like with AI, technology is changing. There's a lot of people, it's just resistant. So many people are resistant to change just because it feels uncomfortable. They've been used to doing something for decades. It's like, I'm not going to change my process. Hey, this has changed. If you don't, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah. If you're comfortable, you're not going to be successful.
Right. And now the times are advancing rapidly. Everything you're dropping, with some of this stuff with social and the trends, we thought we were on top of it. You're like, that was so, not even yesterday. That was so 10 years ago. It's like, oh my gosh. It's wild.
It's wild.
It's funny. I also think AI has rapidly evolved so fast. It's also causing so much confusion in the market as well, I believe. I've noticed, now potential partners are like, how are you going to, along with this RFP or whatever, how are you going to integrate AI? And you're like, what does that even mean?
It's not necessary,
Like it's such a buzzword. Now they want to integrate AI, but they don't realize it's not necessarily meant to integrate it on the marketing end. If so, it has nothing really to do with them. If that makes sense.
Correct.
Well,
it's like an automation. Think of automations to where it's more about workflow, and the client. At the end of the day, we can break down a client relationship like this, to where they have a problem and a solution, or their customers have a problem, create the solution, and how can we monetize that? And that's what we help them. How we do that on the back end, it doesn't matter to them. If they're spending X, Y, Z and there's a return on that investment, that's profitable, that should be all they care about. And because it is a buzzword like you're talking about, they hear AI or they heard their friend say something or they watched a random video, and we need to, as an agency, use this and leverage this when it's like, maybe yes, but maybe not.
We can definitely decide.
Let us figure out the plan that works to get your business there.
Like, I'm wondering almost if they think, well, if they utilize AI, then maybe their service is less expensive because it takes less time.
Right.
That's, me as a business person, that's where I automatically go.
Correct.
It takes you half the time, well, it's half the cost. Well, that's not true. We don't haggle on prices. Our value is our value. Our price is our price. I don't care if we do it with a stone tablet. It's going to cost the same if we do it with AI.
Right.
In 5 minutes. I've just found it kind of hysterical. It's become such a buzzword and just all over the place that everybody's like, oh my God. Well, if you do it, how can we leverage AI or this and this? And I'm sitting here thinking, like,
are they thinking they can do it themselves then?
Well, no, I don't know what they're thinking. I'm thinking they need to first utilize AI for their own business, for their business optimization, right? So they can leverage AI to get a lot of those common tasks more efficient, to where they can use it a bandwidth to spend time on more important things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at extremely internal. They're not hiring us as a business optimization agency. Well, we can do that. That is a service we can offer. But what I found is a lot of companies, they really don't like you prying into their process a whole lot.
And people don't know what they want. They don't understand it. They don't know what they want, especially when it comes to marketing and when we get to how their business is going to be seen and the outreach. They don't know how to get that, and they don't even know where to get that from. Yeah,
some guy, he called me about a year ago and asked me about AI content for a website. He was like, oh yeah, can't you just use AI generate the content? Because I said, hey, we can help write your content for your online presence, right? That's an additional service,
right?
Like, it requires some support. And he just nonchalantly brought that up, like, oh, well, you shouldn't charge me because it's like free on AI. And I'm just like, you're not very, very bright in this subject.
Yeah. And so many, look, we're business owners. You have to have a pulse on your business. You want to make the most affordable purchases, that are going to grow your business. But there's a difference between being conscious of your business in that perspective versus just looking for the cheapest option. And I think so many business owners are just looking for the cheapest option. And so they can come and they present that. And it's an interesting dynamic in the relationship. It's almost like a power play. And I'm not saying that we want to be up here, with our partners, but it's up to us. If you're coming to us and you're looking, these are my goals. I want to grow my business. I want to get to this number. I want to get this many clients, whatever it is. And we put like a growth plan in place to provide them. And we say, all right, based on your goals, this is what we're going to do. And we have to kind of maintain that part of the relationship of, up here and not in a way of just like a power play, but just look, this is the reason you came to us. If you think we can use AI as cheaper, then why don't you write it yourself? And then like kind of turn it back on those questions, to where they can see, okay, that's a tool. It's like an extra extension of their team. But that's what I was saying with Xand earlier with college. You can't just take a paper and write it. AI can spit out some stuff, but then we need to fine tune it. It's not going to tweak it or like direct it to that niche. It's not going to go directly to that audience. And so it can give you like 80% of it complete, but then really hone in on that messaging kind of a thing. And so I think it's a mindset that we have to work with partners of getting them over don't just be focused on price. Because as a business owner, I started steering away from clients to where their first thing was, how much does it cost? It was like, that's a dead giveaway of the kind of relationship that you're going to get into.
And with AI, something I love that we've recently introduced even here at TA is a tool to schedule and post for social media. We use Metrical. Plug Metrical here. No, it's amazing how you put the picture in, and then it'll schedule the time optimization based on your social media following, who's going to be seeing it, what time. And we utilize this for a lot of our clients, and it's such an easy, and it gives you the best analytics back.
Wow.
And Megan and I need to even go deeper down this rabbit hole of how we can help our clients even more, or our partners, help our partners even more with the optimizations for their analytics from this. We have so much, we gather data in a bunch of different ways. SEO, whether it's, social time, stuff like that, but that has saved a lot of time and given amazing results so far.
That's good because, again, we have to look at how fast this technology has evolved. I remember a decade ago, you just post and you're getting out to all your audiences. And then over the years, it's like, hey, actually Tuesday at 8 a.m. is the best time to post. And it started getting more and more. And so the clients that come our way, like, hey, you can use AI. Shouldn't it be free or cheap kind of a thing? It's up to us to do all this research. It's up to us to figure out these platforms. It's up to us to know how metrical works, And there's so much behind the scenes that I think a partner or a client would look at. And they're just looking at high level. All you're doing is writing this. No, there's when it's written, when to post it, who to go after, when to boost it, what keywords, what hashtags, all that stuff. There is so much around it when they can only look at choosing to look at the results that come from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the key is if you are a social media agency or if you're an agency or doing social media on the side is really keying in to making your partner understand the value, right? If they don't hold any value to it, then it's highly doubtful that you'll gain any good compensation for it, right? They're just going to look for the cheapest person to do a post, right? When that's what it boils down to. If they look at it, wow, I just want 4 posts a month. That's
they
great.
Don't care what it is.
It's irrelevant. That's an irrelevant conversation.
Yeah.
So I think our number one goal is to educate, right? And, I would advise that to any other agency or business owner or social media manager or whatnot. Your number one objective is to have that data and just educate on the importance of it. It's a long play. Social media is a long play.
Absolutely. It's not going to happen overnight.
It's a combination, like I always say, of marketing, of pushing and pulling, and branding. Now, some things, it makes sense. You will get some instant gratification, some direct conversions. But building that culture, that brand awareness takes time.
Absolutely. That's the most important thing. But it is really cool to see some of the partners that we've worked with and how stuff is taken off in their social. It definitely, once you start seeing those results, it's an addicting feeling. You're like, what can I put out here that's going to also grab this audience? What can we do? It's like, I text Megan, we posted TikTok and it's, hundreds of views in the first few hours. It's like, what else can we do along with these lines of these trends then? Because this is what's getting, people's attention. It's an addicting thing.
Yeah. So you've got to almost make them understand the value that it's going to give the whole entire organization. The brand visibility is going to increase every KPI over year over year. So they've got to have a 2-year, a 5-year kind of vision. And you've got to identify that vision and show them how all these social outlets, all these emails, all this SEO, everything that you're doing is going towards that vision and get buy-in.
Absolutely.
If you don't get buy-in, it's going to just be fighting uphill battle the whole time. Swimming upstream, like fighting for every nickel and dime. Right? We've all been there.
But it's like
a freaking nightmare.
People they think they're saving money by not doing something. Like, I'm not going to do SEO. It's a little expensive. I'm not going to do paid social. Well, this is all eventually, once it comes on, it's going to bring you so much more money in the end. It's going to make your business so much more successful. So it's that line of, we need this and you got to put the money in now, and you might not see the results for, as you said, a year or 2 years, but that end goal is what we're all going towards.
And I think that's the hard pill for people to swallow is
why wouldn't it be?
Not see results for a long time. And that was always a problem with SEO, because sometimes to do SEO properly, you could be spending $10,000 a month, $15,000, $20,000 a month, and you don't see any kind of movement for 6 to 12 months. And so a business can look at that like, hey, this is not working. But then it's like the faucet gets turned on once everything connects. You got to set those proper expectations up front of what's going to happen. So if we're taking a client with social, letting them know. Because the way I kind of look at social media, it's almost like an online business card. Back
Absolutely.
before.
Great analogy.
It really is. It's to where before I speak to you about your brand, I can look you up on social media and see this is what you stand for. This is what you like doing. This is the kind of cat you have, all these things. Before I get to choose, I'm going to give you a call, or I'm going to check out your website, or I'm going to buy your product. And so I think with social, there's so much, you have to be consistent. And, we talked about Oliver Anthony one time where homeboy came out of the woods, singing a song on the guitar, consistently posted over and over and over again. And then one day it was like gangbusters, went viral, out of the blue, but it wasn't out of the blue. It was because he had done the work for so long. And he wasn't even trying to do that. He was just doing it for fun, kind of a thing he's passionate about. And so I think clients too often, they quit before they gave it a proper chance, to see if they'd be successful. And I think if we're a partner with a company, we have to set those expectations up front of this is what we're going to do. Expectations are, blah, 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 and iron those out. And then up front, that gives them a chance to say, that's too long for me, or that's too much money, or whatever it is. And it's like, hey, we don't have to do this for you, but based on what you shared, this is the path to get there.
Yeah. I mean, I do all of my research through social media if I want to find a business. I got my nails done yesterday. I just moved here to Charlotte, did not know any place around, had no recommendations. So I started looking things up on Instagram, and then they're posting their work, posting what the salon looks like. And I'm like, that seems like a really nice place. I want to go there.
It's a search engine, like you mentioned earlier.
Search engine. I did it for doctors.
Yeah.
I'm like, what doctor do I want to go to? The hair, clothes, this boutique's so cute on Instagram. I do everything, restaurants are a big one. People are posting the food's good here. They've got a good atmosphere. They have live music. Well, that's how I find everything. So in a business saying, it might not seem like those direct conversions, especially in-person businesses. You're not seeing that I found you on social media and I'm here, but there I am spending my money and giving my time to your business. So that's where it gets a little hard. There's the gray area of how is this conversion coming in? So, you get those like emails when you leave a place, when you book a reservation or something, and it's like, how did you find us?
Right.
Those are super important. That's a great analytics tool that we use. And it shows in the end how they're getting to your business and how stuff you're doing is actually paying off.
Well, business has to measure.
Yeah.
They have to see, I'm spending this money and what is working. If they're not, you're just wasting money, because why would you pour in more money into paid ads or into SEO or something if you don't know that's actually generating business? And so I think we do a good job. We have the team that, provides all that data to show from dollar to dollar, this is where your spend's going. This is how much return you're getting. And even as you're sharing, Zan, like how you search for those things, I don't do that.
That's a powerful statement. I'm just going to say that right now. Like,
do you do that?
No.
That's 100% of how I find any business, like locally, unless it's word of mouth, which is probably, I don't know anybody here.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to find a restaurant to go to, I'm looking at their social media 100% of the time.
I've never once done that in my life.
Generational difference.
We might have a few generations between us.
There's a generational, just say that.
Yeah, that's crazy though. But that's something we have to accept.
Absolutely.
And that's something we have to, that's just so valuable what you shared, to where if a partner can look at this and say, if your audience is in this same group, this is how they're searching for you. Don't think that you're going to send a postcard or that you're going to do this and they're going to respond. And correct me if I'm wrong, you probably want to stay off of a phone call.
I feel like I'm a little bit different than that, but generationally, yes, that's safe to assume.
Let's keep it in the text message. Let's keep it in the DMs.
Yes.
Let's stay off the phone. And I'll be honest, I personally don't like the phone either.
Yeah. If a business is calling, personally, I like talking to someone. Business is calling, I'm setting it right to voicemail.
Yeah.
I'm not answering.
Right. If it's a number you don't know,
no, I'm not answering
send a voicemail.
It's so funny when you call a place. I love the phone. I love talking to people.
Yeah,
and I can tell. And whenever you act annoyed, I'm going to talk to you even more because that's just just because I can, right? I'm going to keep you on the phone because it's like I call places and I want to know. I want you to be able to tell me what's going on. Where are you located? Tell me about your business, right? Express yourself. And they try to get off the phone. I'm like, hey, hold on.
Hold on.
Got one more question. I find that so interesting, the dynamics, because, I like calling, I like chatting too, but just depends on the scenario, I guess.
Yeah.
And my parents, the amazing people, but I mean, again, these are 20, 30 years older than I am. And so big generation gap here. Mm-hmm. And I'll get text from my dad, and it's like a picture of something in the newspaper, the printed newspaper, kind of a thing. It's not a link to anything.
I just used to get the printed newspaper.
Yeah.
That's like a childhood thing.
Or the yellow pages, white pages. It's a picture of something.
Yeah.
And so, the generation, we have to know who we're speaking to, and then we have to communicate in the way that's relevant to them.
I think it's such a broad, right now, it's such an interesting time in marketing because your audience, there's a broad, audience base for a lot of your clientele, for a lot of businesses, because let's face it, it's usually your young 20s to 50s, mm-hmm. female. That's always kind of been like the target for a lot of B2Cs. Mm-hmm. So think about that. Think about how many places you need to be.
So many.
To really encapture like most of your
absolutely
audience.
It's getting tougher.
It is getting tougher because everybody's just, there's so many different platforms now, and they keep
noisy.
Coming out. It's noisy. Yeah. So it's how are you going to stand out? How are you going to find a way to break through? And like we said before, the attention span. Somebody's going to look at your post for maybe a second or two, and it's what can you do to grab somebody's attention? Right. And that's more younger, but it's so much at your age. You're getting so many emails right now still, and how are you going to go through that? If I'm using social, you're still using email or direct mail maybe, but it's so much. So how are you going to grab an audience's attention there?
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day,
are you laughing because I said at your age?
That's what I was thinking too.
I know.
What do you mean at my
I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back.
Hey, I'm thinking of Jay Hill going through his direct mail on my value pack.
I see it too.
Right. Honestly, being in marketing for 2 decades now, I look at everything through marketing lens. When I go to my mailbox, mm-hmm. It's like I read the mail over the trash can, just trash. Then something grabs my attention. Why did that grab my attention? Was it the colors? Was it the font? Was mm-hmm. it the message? What is that differentiator? Because I'm always looking from a perspective of how are these clients or companies doing it well mm-hmm. and doing it right? Because we do have to be different. If, like Zan said, she moves here, she's looking for a nail salon that's local to her, want to get good reviews, good location, nice pictures and stuff mm-hmm. like that. She could find 100 nail salons within a mile radius mm-hmm. of what she does. And so why does she pick that one? And so I think then, it's the whole strategy approach. All right, you're doing social, you're doing email, you're doing a postcard mailer, you're doing direct things, everything that you're doing to where everywhere somebody turns is to stay top of mind to where when they need that. Because so often with a marketing push, we try to sell people on something, but they're not ready to buy yet. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that we did it wrong. Yeah. They're just not in that stage yet to where they're ready to buy. And so we have to keep showing up to where mm-hmm. they remember. And then when it's like, now I'm ready to buy. Oh yeah, I remember that brand because they saw it in their mailbox mm-hmm. subconsciously. They saw it on social. They saw it here. And so you have to be everywhere. I think with smaller businesses, when you have a smaller marketing budget, mm-hmm. social is such a good way to go. Absolutely. Because it's free, it's inexpensive. You can push out as much content you want. Mm-hmm. My only, I don't want to say caution, what I advise partners with social is you want to get them off of that platform into your own to where you own them.
Yeah.
Because if something changes with that platform, and you lose access to all the people that you've built in that community, mm-hmm. your business, you lose. And so take it so then you can send out stuff directly here as well as keep posting on social.
Yeah. And I think that's relevant for a lot of these platforms. Like I'm going to say Amazon, for example, where there's sellers that you can have your product on there, but there's percentages taken off. There's, they're going to Amazon. They could see competitors right there. How do we convert them from these other platforms to a website that's strictly yours? Because that means you're getting all of the customers' attention, all of their money, and they're not going to see anything else that's going to steer them, in a different direction. Amazon, I go, let's say I want to buy a water bottle and I type in this brand. I'm going to get ads for all these other brands of water bottles at different price points that might not be it's similar to yours. And you're not married to it. You're like, okay, I'll do one a little bit cheaper. So it's how can we direct people directly to their own site, directly to their own business, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a very good point.
Own your audience.
Absolutely.
That's your biggest asset, your audience.
Right.
Right. That's with a lot of companies, businesses, they've got to understand they've got to build an audience to then direct them, you know, to purchase, to join the conversation. Yeah.
Creating loyalty is the biggest thing. I'm loyal to so many brands, even though they're at a higher price point or something. The quality of stuff, the way the customer service is extremely important. How they interact with me, that's what I'm willing to spend more money for a product or service that I love.
Yeah. I talk a lot about how I use social media as learning about somebody.
Yeah.
I had a dental lab client and trying to get more dentist clients. And so we use a hashtag of the type of doctor that he was looking to acquire. And so then it brings up all these doctors. And, you know, we were using Instagram specifically. You can see the pictures like of dental work of, all right, we were looking for implants or whatever it was, and click on it. And then you can see everything that they're posting. And this was the business page, and then the doctor was referenced, so you get his personal page. So from this, I pick up a phone number, I pick up their address, I can hit them with the DMs. I know the stuff that matters to them in their practice. So now I could send out a letter to them. I could send a message inside of that. I could call the office, like just by doing some reconnaissance work of, you know, finding that stuff on there. You can tap into them. You can show up. The salesperson can go right into their location. Like there's like 4 touch points right there that you can do by just doing a simple search with social media. Because in marketing, we're currently at 8 to 12 touch points before somebody will move forward with a brand, to where not that they disagree with the brand, our attention span, like you said, they just can't think about it. So that's why you got to see it over and over and over again. So when I try to grow a client's business, I take them to social media and I say, find the top 10 people that you would like to acquire. And then let's get everything we know about them, own that data, build it into a CRM, and let's build a custom campaign to those 10. Because so often we go, let's do paid ads, and we're going to thousands or tens of thousands of people that may be completely cold leads. I would rather nurture these top 10 people that they want than going to tens of thousands of people, honing that in. And again, that doesn't cost me a single thing except for time.
Yeah. And a lot of it is not as much time as you'd be putting into these direct mails, email campaigns. You know, if it's still just showing up every day and doing a story post, doing a short little thing about your company, you know, like we said, that can be recycled throughout a lot of different platforms. So it's something that everybody needs to definitely research with their company. And I say, like we said, even B2B, B2C, there's different platforms for everything. Right. And we've had like B2B customers that are like, I don't really think I need a LinkedIn. And, you know, how are you finding leads? How are you getting yourself out there? You know, this is the most perfect place for you. And it's so easy. Setting up a profile is just doing the first steps are easy.
Right.
Showing up every day is where it gets a little harder. And that's where, you know, we can come in with the keywords and stuff, but they don't even have a profile created. You know, that's something that anybody can do.
Yeah. They're going to wait for AI to do it.
They're going to wait for AI to do it. Yeah, people are going to wait for AI to do everything for them. And it probably will.
Yeah. I mean, AI is already driving, you know, it's the backbone behind these platforms.
Yeah.
And I mean, algorithms are an extension of AI, you know, that's already there. But it's just interesting with AI. I mean, look over the last 6 months of how AI has been here for decades. It started in the 80s, I think, to where it was being utilized. But now it pops out.
It's such a buzzword right now. It's
it
everything.
Is. And that it's like when something becomes a buzzword, whatever that is. But when it becomes a buzzword, like Jason was talking about earlier, it causes mass confusion because everybody thinks, everywhere I turn, I see AI. We have to leverage it. I've heard that it's free. It writes all your content. I don't need to pay for marketing anymore because AI will do it. And they come that way. And so I think everything we always advise brands to just educate. You know, everybody has a product to sell, but give value by educating. How can we make your life better? How can we improve? How can we do X, Y, Z? And then when we're given that much help, we're more inclined to move forward when it's time to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your organic visibility is low and you're doing no SEO or local citations or local SEO work or local directories, and you're worried about AI, I mean, come on, like seriously, it's like
don't look over there.
Don't look over there. And I think that's the mass confusion is what there's so many partners I've seen that are in need of foundational work, and they're just trying to bypass that and just go to the hot button, right? AI is the solution. AI. Unfortunately, it's not. It is a solution. It is a supporter. It will help out. But yeah, just be.
I mean, we said it's a lot for the consumer to see all of this, those touch points. But imagine for the business when there's all these tools, how do we utilize it? I'm sure that it would be extremely confusing and so just overwhelming to get started marketing in an industry when you don't know anything about marketing. You have to put yourself in their shoes and say they've never done this before. They don't know what they're doing. And it's so overwhelming.
Right. Even so, let's take TalenAlexander, and if we have partners that they have the infrastructure in place, maybe they have somebody that posts on social kind of a thing. They don't use an external agency. And we could create like a cheat sheet.
Yeah, and we do that
a lot. Give them, hey, these are the top 3 ways to leverage AI for your social media posting.
Yeah.
And so we're giving to somebody something of value there to where, okay, I'm going to get Chat GPT. I'm going to get this picture AI. I'm going to get video AI. These are the 3 to use and how that can help you to post. Because if I'm partnering with a company, and building a marketing strategy for them, I want them to be knowledgeable of some things, just to where when we're talking about it, they have more of an understanding. So if I'm educating them on how to leverage AI for maybe social media posting, then when it comes the opportunity to really work together, they're more inclined to work because we gave them that value of helping them. And they could still manage some of these things while we work more on the big picture, because if we have separation, agencies over here, partners way over here, they just hear words and we're going back and forth. That's where all this stuff, tension in the relationship can build, as opposed to, okay, we had, I don't want to call out, a certain company, but a nonprofit that we presented to. And the lady that was in charge of this whole organization, very knowledgeable. We came in and didn't expect her to know the things that she did. And, she would be a great resource, to work with, because she has so much experience in marketing and this and that. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't have the bandwidth to do it. She needs to work on the business, but she would be great to work with because she has such a comprehensive understanding. Yes. And so she respects the opportunity for an agency that knows what they're doing. So that's like an ideal situation, ideal scenario. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of organizations that are like that.
Yeah, the best
when
clients
we work with smaller businesses.
The best clients are like that, or we have some partners in that they go, I know I don't know. I know you know, and tell me how I can learn. I mean, that's the best way to approach everything. But the worst is whenever somebody says, I'm not going to do this because I just don't want to, or I don't think it's good, without looking at the facts.
Yeah.
And, we've encountered that issue. I think our best partners are the ones that say, I know I don't know.
Yeah.
And teach me.
Yeah, that's good. Teach me. If anybody, this goes into life. If anybody's teachable, sky's the limit for them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
Well, I think we can wrap it up.
One last question for Zan.
Sure.
On a personal level, what's your favorite social media platform and why?
On a personal level, I think I spend most time on Instagram whenever it's just like looking for a business or looking for information. TikTok is so high up here. It's not deep for me, if that makes any sense. I watch content on it that's just going to be mindless,
just like
laughing, aimless scrolling. I think Instagram's where I connect with people more. Whether that's on a business level or a personal level, that's where I follow along with friends, with family members, even posting and businesses. So that's probably the most valuable one to me.
Right. Do you have a Facebook account?
I do have a Facebook account. I don't use it. I use my Facebook account mostly because of our clients to go from page to page.
Wow. It makes sense. Just learn. The more we have conversations with people like Zan.
Well, now you see why they bought it. Why Facebook bought Instagram.
Yeah. That was a really good move.
It was a smooth move.
Well, and then they, recently launched Threads.
Yes.
Do you have Threads?
I have Threads. Don't use it, but I have it. I follow along. I follow along with everything.
Yeah. See, I know what Threads is. I'm on top of it.
Do you have Threads?
I don't.
Do you have TikTok?
I don't.
I know. That makes me so mad.
You know what my favorite platform is?
No.
You know.
Facebook?
No. LinkedIn.
YouTube? Oh, I was going to say, and I feel like now with the podcast, you've been really into YouTube. I need to get more versed with YouTube and how they, shorts and stuff like that. I actually was posting on YouTube shorts because we have our Google accounts connected to it. So Simon said, just do it all through your own, and we're authorized as TalenAlexander. Well, I was posting on my own account through TalenAlexander, not actually TA's account.
Oh,
so,
your Zand.
Yes.
Zand account.
Well, the one Alexandra at TalenAlexander.com is posting their own shorts.
Oh, that has its own page for you personally?
I guess so. Didn't know this.
I posted all those shorts, right?
Which one?
Like the teaser videos?
Yes, yeah. No, I was posting just our TikToks that we were making on this platform too.
Oh, well, you need to figure out how to get it on our YouTube channel.
I need to figure out how to get our TikTok account back.
I'll show you. Oh, not how to get TikTok.
That's my first priority.
Or go follow Zan's TA YouTube.
No.
Maybe. Let's just have two. One of them will grow. We'll switch over. Zan has bigger following than the whole company. All right.
I love it.
This was eye-opening for me.
Definitely. Me too.
Absolutely. Me too. Learn something new every day.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing all your nuggets of information that your generation has that Jason and I just do not understand.
Nuggets. That was funny. Nuggets of information. I like that.
So valuable.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Always a great time.
Awesome.
Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for listening and joining us on the Love Your Brand podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, and remember, share the love.